Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us for our City Council meeting today, April the 15th. For those of you who do not have a hard copy of our agenda, please utilize the QR codes right on the glass of the rotunda so you can follow along with us as we go through this agenda. We're going to start today's meeting with the opening prayer to be led by Bishop Harvey B. of the Winning Church, and the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by one of our very own, Lieutenant Brian White with the Warner Robins Fire Department. I'm going to ask everyone please stand now so that Bishop B can start us off with prayer.
Let us bow our heads. Our Lord and our God, we give thanks and praise for all of your mighty works. You are loving and good and gracious. Thank you for creating us and sustaining us day by day. Thank you that you made us in your image to exist in this community with people from all walks of life. We thank you for our city. We thank you for our elected officials, the businesses, the churches, the families, and the individuals that make up our city, make this a great place that it is. Grant our city that our city would be known as a righteous city, a city that confessed Jesus as Lord, a city of peace and hope, a city with happy homes, a city that welcomes the stranger, a city that cares for the needy, a city that defends the innocent from evildoers. And Lord, thank you for civil government. Those who bear the sword do so as your ministers to be a terror to crime. We pray that our civil servants would acknowledge this calling and perform it faithfully. Be with our mayor, our judges, attorneys, and law enforcement. Grant that they would never neglect or abuse their authority, but that they would stand firm for truth and justice. Keep them safe from harm as they serve our community. Help us to realize that the decisions that we make will determine the future of our children. We pray for this council meeting tonight. Give the mayor and council members wisdom and guidance as they deliberate on the items before them. May every decision be righteous in your sight for our benefit and for your glory. In the matchless, mighty, majestic, and all magnificent name of Jesus, amen.
Now y'all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you so much, Bishop B., for your prayer, and thank you, Lieutenant White, for leading us in the pledge. I officially call today's meeting to order. I will now request an adoption of the agenda.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to accept the agenda as it is.
I second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lashley, seconded by Councilman Mack. All in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries. So for announcements, I'll just say, I think today is Purple Up Day for the military child, and I'm wearing mine, and it says Proud Military Kid, because that's what I am. So again, to all the children out there who serve with their military parent, moving wherever their orders tell them to go, restarting their life every time, I just want, again, to tell them, thank you, little ones, for your service and your sacrifice. Now we have proclamations, awards, and presentations. We have 2 proclamations to go over today, and then we also have some employee awards. So I'm going to go over to the podium now and read the 2 proclamations, and anyone who matches the description of what I'll be doing the proclamation for, you're invited to come forward and hear me read it so that I can present it to you at the end. All right. So the first proclamation is a Fair Housing Month proclamation. Anyone who is here to receive this proclamation, please come towards in this area. Thank you. Okay. So there's a proclamation for Fair Housing Month, which is April 2024. Sorry. Fair Housing Month for April 2024. Whereas the federal and state of Georgia, the federal government and the state of Georgia, fair housing laws prohibit discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, disability, or handicap, family status, or national origin. And whereas April 2024 marks the 55th anniversary of the passage of Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, commonly known as the Fair Housing Act. And whereas the City of Warner Robins, Georgia, supports the efforts of local agencies, nonprofits, the private sector, and individuals in ensuring compliance with the federal fair housing law and affirms the right of people to choose where they wish to live without encountering discrimination. And whereas the month of April has been designated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development as National Fair Housing Month. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself, the mayor of the City of Warner Robins, on behalf of City Council and the citizens of Warner Robins, Georgia, proclaiming the month of April 2024 as Fair Housing Month in the City of Warner Robins. I call upon all citizens of Warner Robins to participate in activities supporting the federal fair housing law and celebration of diversity and equal opportunity for housing throughout the city. Okay. So we have two members from our Community and Economic Development Department who are here to accept this. Community and Economic Development does a lot of things in our community, and fair housing is something that we stand for, not only as a department, but also as a city, to make sure that individuals, again, are not discriminated from certain housing options based on one of the protected classes. So if you just give a round of a hand to the ladies here for all they do. All right, now the next and last proclamation is for Safe Digging Month, April 2024. Anyone here to accept this, please come forward. Any of our essential workers who dig out there? I'm about to say, don't make me call you out. I was giving you some grace. These men work hard. Utilities department works so hard. Many people don't know that utilities, they are essential workers, and they get called to jobs in the middle of the night. I've seen this one here right by my house late at night once, remember? The crew was there working on some stuff. So I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you guys worked this late, worked like that. So I learned when I saw our crew right there by my house working in the middle of the night. It was from, I don't know how late you guys work, but you guys can work through the whole middle of the night, can't you? Yep, so they work really hard, our utilities department. So thank you all for coming up to receive this proclamation. So again, Safe Digging Month, April 2024. Whereas thousands of times each year, the underground infrastructure in Georgia is damaged by those who do not have underground lines located prior to digging, resulting in service interruption, environmental damage, and threats to the public safety. I know you've dealt with that, Bishop, in your area. Whereas in 2005, the Federal Communications Commission designated 811 to provide contractors and homeowners with a simple number to contact utility operators to request the location of underground lines at the intended dig site. And whereas the Houston County Utility Coordinator Committee, a stakeholder-given organization dedicated to the prevention of damage to the underground utilities in Georgia, promotes the Georgia 811 and the National 811 notification system in an effort to reduce these damages. And whereas damage prevention is a shared responsibility. By using safe digging practices such as 811, the contractors and homeowners in Warner Robins can save time and money and keep our infrastructure safe and connected. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself as Mayor of Warner Robins and on behalf of City Council and the residents of Warner Robins, Georgia, we proclaim the month of April 2024 as Safe Digging Month in the City of Warner Robins. I encourage all contractors and homeowners throughout Warner Robins to always, always, always contact 811 before digging. Safe digging is no accident. So if you'll please give a hand for these gentlemen who work tirelessly fixing issues that come from people digging without 811 and just for pipes bursting. They do so and they have to prioritize work over personal time a lot of times. So thank you for what you all do. One more round of applause for them. Thank you. All right, now we have our Employee Service Awards. We have a lot of them today. Yes, ma'am. 7.
Mixed up. There we go. Yes, ma'am. All right, so we do have 7 employees that are receiving service awards this evening. The first will be Officer Eric Walters. He's a police officer with our police department with 5 years of service. Oh, not here. Okay. Sorry about that. Yes. Next will be Miss Aubrey Williams. She's an administrative secretary with our police department with 10 years of service. Next, we have Jason Bond. He's a network administrator with our general administration department with 10 years of service. right, next we have James Nix. He's a detective with our police department with 15 years of service. We've already seen this employee this evening, but Brian White is a lieutenant with our fire department with 15 years of service. All right, another employee we've already seen this evening, Joey McDuffie, is a utility maintenance supervisor with our utility department with 30 years of service to the city. Oh, okay. 30 years of service, utility maintenance supervisor with our utility department. And last but certainly not least, Greg Langston is our animal control supervisor at the police department with 35 years of service.
Put my thing somewhere. All right, that was fun. We have a lot of employees that stay with the city once they start. So I'm always so happy to see the employee awards, especially when they get over 30 years. All right, so now we're going into our numbered agenda. So for number one, we'll have the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting to be discussed by Councilman Holmes, the Godfather.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We have had the minutes in our hands for about 5 days now, and had an opportunity to look at them, look over them, and any corrections need to be made, to call someone and say that. So having said that, at this time, it's my pleasure to move that the minutes be accepted as presented.
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion by Councilman Holmes, seconded by Councilman Lashley. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries with one abstention. Okay? All right, now we have the time for our public, which is for formal public comments. If any of you would like to approach the podium to make a comment, voice a concern, or share a question you may have about an agenda item, number 4 through 8 only. If you'd like to make a comment about one of those areas, please, please, please come forward and utilize your 3 minutes to do so. Going once, going twice, 3 times. The door is now closed. You will have a time for general comments at the end of the meeting. Now moving on to item number 3, which is the consent agenda to be discussed by Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with 10 purchasing items and 9 home occupation permits.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Curtis, seconded by Councilman Holmes. All in favor, please state aye and raise your hand.
Madam Mayor.
Oh, sorry.
If I could, if
I
you don't
forgot
mind.
to do something. Okay, we're going to do that over because there was a lag. Can you start over with your motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, 10 purchasing items and 9 home occupation permits.
I second that motion.
Motion by Councilman Curtis, seconded by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor, if you would allow me to go ahead and congratulate Ms. Ladidria Jones, Chico Jones, Alicia Witt, LaWanda Oduawa, Wanda Smith, April Coleman, Lakeisha Henderson, and Serena Bell on their new businesses.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right, and now for number 4, resolution for DDA appointments and oath of office to be discussed by Councilman Lawrenson.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my privilege to motion to approve a resolution, the Mayor and City Council of Warner Robins, acting pursuant to Official Code of Georgia 3642-4, appoint the following individuals to the Board of Directors of the Downtown Development Authority for the City of Warner Robins. And those 2 individuals are Shane Reagan and Stanley Ferguson. Both terms will coincide with April 18th, 2024 to March 5th, 2028. And again, the motion is to approve.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Number 5, a resolution for firearms training to be discussed after I finish giving oaths. Thank you. Let's see, do we have the individuals that were just appointed to the DDA board present? Okay. We have Mr. Reagan and Mr. Ferguson. Okay, come on up. So this here is your oath of office. In front of you, you're going to be repeating after me. When you see I, imagine a space there. You're going to state your name, okay? And you're going to have to pause and wait for the other to finish. If you finish early, before you go to the second word, which is do, okay? You're going to be repeating after me. Pay attention to where I stop, because that's where you're going to have to stop. All right, it's pretty easy. So if you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Shane Reagan, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties
that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties
of Director of the Downtown Development Authority
of Director of the Downtown Development Authority
for the City of Warner Robins,
for the City of Warner Robins,
and that I will support and defend the Charter of the City of Warner Robins,
and that I will support and defend the Charter of the City of Warner Robins,
as well as the Constitution
as well as the Constitution
and the laws of the State of Georgia
and the laws of the State of Georgia
and of the United States of America.
and of the United States of America.
I will not knowingly receive,
I will not knowingly receive,
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing
any money or other valuable thing
for the performance or non-performance
for the performance or non-performance
of any act or duty
of any act or duty
pertaining to my office,
pertaining to my office,
other than that compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
that I will faithfully discharge my duties
that I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a director
as Director
of the Downtown Development Authority
of the Downtown Development Authority
for the City of Warner Robins
for the City of Warner Robins
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations. You are now officially a member of the DDA. So, you can sign your name there. All right. All right, let's welcome them to the Warner Robins family. All right, now we're doing number 5, which is a resolution for firearms examiner training to be discussed by Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve a resolution to authorize Mayor LaRhonda W. Patrick to execute the attached contract for firearms examiner training between Ryan Morrison and the Warner Robins Police Department, whereby Ryan Morrison will provide firearms and tool mark examiner training at the Warner Robins Forensic Laboratory.
I second that motion.
Motion by Councilman Lashley, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion? Chief seems pretty happy because he's smiling really hard about this one. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right, number 6 is a resolution for GERMA liability renewal to be discussed by Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution to authorize Mayor LaRonda W. Patrick and City Clerk Mandy Stella to execute a coverage agreement with the Georgia Interlocal Risk Management Agency, also known as GERMA.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Mack, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Number 7, resolution for cyber insurance coverage to be discussed by Councilman Bibb.
Thank you, Mayor. I make a motion to approve the resolution to authorize Mayor LaRonda W. Patrick and the City Clerk Mandy Stella to execute the coverage agreement with Crum and Foster.
And I second.
Motion by Councilman Bibb, seconded by Councilman Lawrenson. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Number 8, a motion for issuance of the LIHTC GIC points to be discussed by Councilman Holmes.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my pleasure to make a motion to approve the issuance of the GIC point to Zimmerman Properties flat at Lakeview 2 development. And the definition of GIC is the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. Move for the adoption.
I second that motion. I second that motion.
Motion by Councilman Holmes, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion? I don't know if you guys heard it, but Councilman Curtis actually said, I second that emotion. You caught it? Yeah, he did. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right, so we have finished the formal part of our agenda at 6:01. So now we are opening for citizen comments. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please come to the podium. You will have 3 minutes on the clock. Please state your name and address. Please note that neither I nor council can respond to you, and please refrain from calling any member by name. You have the floor, Mr. Hatcher.
Good morning. Good morning. Wow. Emotions. Good morning. You know, one of those things. So, Mayor and Council, thank you for the time to address you guys today. First thing I'd like to do is I'd like to thank the Stormwater Department. They have been working diligently to resolve our stormwater issues. As you noticed in the last big rains we've had, we haven't had a lot of flooding down around the Kimberly Road access, so that says a lot for the work that they're doing along the Bagall, not just in our area. So I want to say thank you for that. The second thing I'd like to do is I'd like to bring to you guys' attention an issue of public safety in our neighborhood. In the last 6 months, we've had 12 incidents where we've either had a break-in to people's vehicle, or we've had people who are coming along checking doors, stealing people's property, and it seems like it's a twosome. And we've called the police. We have a neighborhood watch. Myself and one of my neighbors are the co-captains for our neighborhood watch. We have a neighborhood Facebook page, and Councilman Lawrenson is a member of our page since he's our representative, and also Officer Martin from the Warner Robins Police Department is on our page. So we report those things pretty regularly. And we understand from Officer Martin that it has been elevated to the upper levels of the police department, which we appreciate greatly. We feel that we need some more patrols down there quickly. We have been asked and informed by the police department that there is no Defensive Property Act or the Defensive Property Law in Georgia. So it's difficult to watch somebody on your security cameras walk up in your yard, break in your windows, trying to get into your vehicles, and sit inside. And I'm going to tell you, I'm getting a lot of ants in my pants when I'm seeing that happen. And one of our neighbors the other night, when an individual walked up into their carport, broke their window and was almost in the vehicle The neighbor was, the individual had to run away and jump a fence next to his house because the individual was coming out the door after him. My biggest concern is that this is going to evolve into a bigger issue to where someone is harmed, whether it be a resident or whether it be the morons who think that they're entitled to our property. We really just, we need to have some more emphasis on that. Typically, our neighborhood has not been a high crime area, but it's becoming that. And I believe the reason it's becoming that is because the individuals understand that because it's not a high crime area, the police don't patrol down there as much. So any emphasis that you guys could give on that, in addition to what the police department has already given, would be greatly appreciated. Thank you much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Hatchert. All right, any others?
Good evening. My name is Christina Carlisle. I live at 108 Pickett Court, Warner Robins, Georgia. 108 Pickett Court? Yes. Good evening, members of City Council and fellow citizens. My name is Christina Carlisle, like I stated earlier, and tonight I stand before you as the voice for my late mother, Sherry Adams, a dedicated employee of the City of Warner Robins from January 2023 to October 2023. On October 23rd, 2023, my sister was notified by my mother's supervisor that my mother did not show up for work and she had not called in, and they attempted to contact her via phone call and text messages, but she was not responding. He requested a welfare check be done. My sister, my brother-in-law, and myself showed up to my mother's house. What we found that day has forever changed us. We walked into her house, into her bedroom, to an unimaginable horror. In the solitude of her own bedroom, my mother took a firearm, placed it to her head, and pulled the trigger. She was not just a victim to the fatal wound inflicted by her own hand, but to the unbearable pressure she endured as an employee of the city. It is in her memory and in pursuit of justice that I implore you to consider the following policy changes. Number one, law enforcement-led welfare checks. To safeguard the emotional well-being of families, welfare checks should be conducted by trained law enforcement professionals. The traumatic event of discovering a loved one in distress should not be called upon by an untrained civilian. That day will forever be in my memory. The amount of trauma my family has endured is unfathomable. Number two, revision of the medication policies. Currently, the city's policy mandates that employees disclose their prescribed medications to their supervisors. This invasive practice contributed directly to my mother's ceasing her essential mental health treatments, as she did not want to have stigmas and assumptions placed on her at work. We must protect employee privacy and ensure no one feels compelled to choose between their job and their health. This policy can be found on page 2 of the handbook. Every statement I have made tonight is backed by documented evidence, which I'm prepared to share with you if needed. This is not a plea for change, it's a call to action to transform the city of Warner Robins to a workplace that is safe and supportive environment for all employees. Unfortunately, nothing I say here today will bring my mother back, but it is my hope that no other family endures the pain my family has and we will live with for the rest of our lives. Thank you for your time and your opportunity to honor my mother's legacy by advocating for these vital reforms.
Thank you. Are there any others? Going once, going twice, 3 times. The door is now closed. We now open the floor for our council comments. And we'll start with Councilman Lawrenson.
Appreciate that. It's a pleasure to go first. First of all, I would like to say to Miss Christina Carlisle, we are so dearly sorry for your loss, and I want you to know that your sister Nicole was a good friend of mine, and I really love her and appreciate your family. God bless you guys. Also wanted to say welcome tonight to our friends from the Indian Forest Trail. A bunch of them showed up tonight. I saw Jerry back there and Betty and Charlie. Thank y'all for coming. It's good to see you guys. And Mike, thanks for bringing up those important things for us to look at. Also would like to just thank everyone for their participation in what we do here week in and week out. We just really appreciate you guys being a part of it, bringing great ideas to the table. You know, it's through vibrant discussion that we get better, and we look forward to continuing more of that in the near future. And that's all I have. God bless everyone. Let's have a great week.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, our deepest sympathies. I knew your mother for quite a while and loved her to death. So I am very sorry for what happened there. And your comments aren't on deaf ears, I promise you. It's getting warm out there. Everybody needs to start taking a little care with what they're doing. I know I know my kids are anxious to be out and about and running. There's a lot of people out on the roads getting car washes because we got about 900 of them. So y'all be careful when you're riding around the different car washes and getting your oil changed. So, but seriously, be careful riding around our city. I mean, I get stuck in the mentality like a lot of people do that we live in a 30,000 population town. We do not. Those days are long, long gone. And the traffic patterns we have around here are, to say the least, I mean, Chief and them, y'all have your work cut out for you on a daily basis, I know. Some of the initiatives that I'm looking at for my future here, I've talked about briefly. One of them that scares me the most is our lack of EMTs that we have. That's terrifying. I watched a kid with a terribly broken leg sit for 45 minutes at a track meet. There were only 2 ambulances working that day. So I know the mayor is concerned about it. I know my fellow councilmen are concerned about it. And I'm hoping that we can join forces with the other communities around us, Perry, Centerville, and the county, and see if we can find a bridge to help out. I know we have some of the finest public safety people around, and I'm sure there's some way we can figure out a way to get this accomplished between all of us, hospital included. So those are some of the things that I'm really starting to bear down. And then another one I just mentioned is, of course, we just honored 35 years with animal control, and I'm really looking forward to kicking off, looking at this setting up a new, more retail-sided facility for animal control. I can't wait to see what we got planned for that. But other than that, everybody be safe, and thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Holmes.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Carlisle, with sympathy, condolence. She was a friend of mine, and I remember the last conversation that she and I had right there in that lobby. Yeah. Thanks to and congratulations to all of the recipients of your awards tonight. We appreciate you, we love you, we appreciate what you do on a daily basis and some nightly basis. Mayor, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Christina, again, your mom was a magnificent lady. Me and her had many long conversations at 2050 Watson Boulevard. I really appreciate everything that she helped instill into me and helping me understand the city as a whole. So, I mean, she is truly missed, and I know that God is pleased with her. Again, congratulations to all the award recipients, service award recipients. I really appreciate everything that you do for the city. I want to say kudos to the Warner Robins Development Authority. They did an event called Startup Warner Robins. I had the opportunity to attend one, I think it was the minority business owner panel discussion. 65 plus individuals showed up. Over 50 businesses were represented there. So kudos to you, that department, everything that you did. And I pray that everybody have a great rest of this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Carlisle, we've spoken. You know how I feel about your mom and your dad, for that matter, as I work with him currently. And I appreciate you reaching out to me, and she was dear and near to my heart. And I will say I wouldn't be in this seat as she helped me get elected personally. Many nights and hours talking on the phone with your mother. I love her dearly, and you know that. So I'm so sorry that you had to endure that. But we're all praying for you, and we're here with you, okay? Also, again, I'd like to echo the other councilman with the service awards. The tenure that we've been here, the city of Warner Robins is a great place to work. If you've been somewhere 35 years, that's a long time to be on one job. So that says a lot about how they've been treated and their dedication to service before self. And also, I'd had an opportunity to go down to Georgia Southern University to a spring practice to take my nephew. But unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize how many student athletes from Warner Robins, Georgia, that's littered on that roster from every high school in this region. We need to be more supportive of our student athletes in all sports because they're excelling above state average. And when you talk to other parents from other schools and they say, we're from Warner Robins, their eyes get big. Really? Whoa. And they start asking questions. So please, if you have an opportunity to go to a baseball game, softball game, basketball, badminton, whatever it is that you can support our youth, they're doing well and they're making certain sacrifices to excel in life, and I've witnessed it firsthand. And outside of that, everybody have a blessed week.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Bibb.
Ms. Carlisle, sorry for your loss. I haven't lost a parent, but I lost an older brother to suicide and lost a daughter. So I know the pain is very, very hard, and just know that our thoughts and prayers are with you. Congratulations on a lot of service awards, but just wanted Mr. McJoey. He's the man. We know he's the man. Mr. McDuffie, 30 years. He is the man. And Mr. Langston, 35 years. Speaks a lot. There have been a lot of people mention some things. Thank you, Mike, for your comments. I'm glad we're going to look into your situation, and thank you for bringing it to our attention. At the Houston Sports Complex over the last couple of weeks, we've had some major events over there. I want to give a shout out to Jared Renault and all the people in our rec department. We had a huge basketball tournament over there and a huge softball tournament at the same time. And things that, when that type of events are put on, brings a lot of revenue into our community, and not only into our community, but into the north side of town. And I would love to see us continue to do more over that sports complex, build that area up over there at Northside. Used to be Northside Junior, now it's Northside Middle. See, I know. And so I'd love to see that, love to see the city continue to invest over there. I know there's some more plans, a second phase over there. I'd love us to continue to look at making that happen, and to see more ball tournaments and more sporting events come to the city of Warner Robins, because we are a sports town, and love to draw on that and to bring finances into our town. Love the city of Warner Robins, and thank you for allowing me to serve.
Thank you, Councilman. And that concludes our council comments. And for me, there's a few things I just want to mention based on individuals that came up to say something today. We're talking about safety inside neighborhoods. Of course, I heard about some issues in one part of our city, increase in crime that they're seeing in their neighborhood. Overall, the city crime is decreasing, which is a good thing, but it's about to get hot. So our police department, they are making sure that we're doing everything in our power to keep the crime low in the city of Warner Robins. But I do want to take this opportunity to, again, encourage our community, our homeowners, our business owners, everybody, to really pay attention to our FUSIS program. And that is a program where you can allow the Warner Robins Police Department to gain access to your individual security cameras. And they will have it if and only if something occurs, which they would need to access the camera to see who the potential crime doer is. For some reason, it's just not coming to me today. My words aren't flowing, but you know what I'm talking about. Assailant. Okay. So pay attention to the FUS. It really does expand our ability to monitor and do surveillance of crime inside of our city. You're already aware of our flock camera system, which has been phenomenal. But the FUSIS allows for each of you to play a part in securing your neighborhood or your particular business area by connecting to our FUSIS program. So I encourage each of you not to take it for granted. Really, really hone in and see if this is something that you would like to do, and it only benefits you to do it, and it benefits our entire city to make sure crime stays away from here. That is something that we're very, very passionate about doing. Now, we will have some information posted on our social media pages this week. Also, I will try to get something on our city website about FUSIS so that everybody knows how to sign up to have FUSIS tie into our FUSIS program. Okay, mental health. Mental health is extremely important, and of course, my thought is stay with your family. You've heard everybody say how much Sherry meant to them. You should hopefully remember the conversation we had and how much that hurt me to receive that call and the things that transpired after. But when it comes to what you spoke about, we spoke about it then, and I've not forgotten to do something. One thing I'll tell you when it comes to mental health, if there's any mental health professionals in here, I know you would agree with me that the law will say something, but it does not necessarily correlate with the actual practices. So a lot of us are making adjustments to what our personnel policies or our practices may be to make sure that what we're doing is what's best. So we have changes to make, not just us, but the industry as a whole, and we talked about that. So I commend you for doing that charge, and I hope in your mother's name that you can continue to advocate for mental health awareness. We hear about mental health awareness, but I like how you did it because you said, I charge you to do A and B. So if you hear mental health awareness and how mental health is important for us to know, it sounds wonderful, but what does it actually mean? You gave us a charge. So I encourage you, in the name of our dear friend, Sherry Adams, to take that and continue to talk about it and go to other municipalities, other corporate organizations, government entities, and say that same thing. And notice whatever else is out there that's not matching up to what's best for individuals, that you're in that world. You work in human resources, so you know. But I encourage you to take it beyond these walls and go out, because that's what's going to make a difference. All of us are a person, so we have the ability to make a difference, but you can't do it unless you try. So I encourage you to do it. If there's anything I can do to help with that, let me know. But that is a great, great thing to do in your mother's honor. And I mentioned her, my team that works with me every day. They'll hear me say, "Oh, Sherry's not here. She would have done that." I say that often, don't I, Christy? She is missed. She is missed. And for Startup Warner Robins, we just had Startup Warner Robins for the very first time in the city of Warner Robins. This is a one-week program where we have entrepreneurs in our community, either who already have a small business or wanting to start a small business, giving them the tools completely free of charge so that they understand how to start a business, how to make sure their business thrives and is successful. So they'll learn about making a business plan. All of us, I hate business plans, but it's something you have to do, right? Business plans, to financing your business, to how to do proper marketing, so many things that they receive for a whole week. We had, I think, 2 events a day all last week. We had so many people that sponsored that, and we'll have those things listed on social media too, to thank you for all of our sponsors who helped make our event possible. And we had over 200 people who participated last week in our Startup Warner Robins. So I give a big hand to those who who invested inside their business by partaking in what the city is offering as a service to our community. We do have a food truck roundup coming up on next Friday, April the 26th. So please come out, enjoy some good food, some good fun, music, and of course, we always have the Kids Zone. I was at Lake Joy Primary today, visiting with the second graders for military child book reading. And it wasn't just military children, it was all the second graders who were there. And some of them say, there's nothing to do. So I said, oh, you've got to tell your parents about Food Truck Roundup and the bounce houses and the Kids Zone and the foam that comes up. And a lot of them had no idea. So I encourage you all to come out. We also have an event coming up for the month of the military child, which is on April the 22nd at Memorial Park. Memorial Park is off of Armed Forces Boulevard, which borders Highway 247 right across from Robins Air Force Base, right behind First Baptist Garmin Church. So there's a park there. It's a very nice park. It has a walking trail and everything. But we're having an event for all of our military children. So we're asking if you know any, share it. If you have any, bring them. And we want to make sure we love on them for the sacrifice they give our city. All right, and with that, I am going to wish you all a wonderful week, and we will see you in the month of May. Enjoy this hot weather, and the meeting is now adjourned.